everyone. It's Monday, and that can only mean one thing, that we are back for Horse Center, where we love to interview interesting people in racing, and we have a real treat for you tonight. I'm Wild Jamie, and with me is my stupendous co-host, Swiss Army Sean, and our special guest tonight is a 2-for-1 special. So it's wonderful. We have the multiple graded stakes winning training duo, Will and Greg Sacco. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Hi, how are you?
So good to have you. Okay, so we were just chatting before we went live, and it was so interesting to me because you brought up something I was not aware of, that you are the oldest racing family in New Jersey. Please tell us a little bit about that.
I am my dad, William, and his brothers. They started training at Monmouth in 46 after World War II. My dad was leading trainer in 62 at Monmouth. So, we learned everything from them. I did, and I've passed it on to Will, and Will will be third generation. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, that is beyond cool. Now, I read somewhere that you started hot walking at 18 years old. Oh, my goodness. Please tell us about growing up in the industry, all of those early mornings.
It's you, Will.
Oh, yeah. No, on the weekends, I would go to the races and in the morning and grab a shank and started walking the horses from there.
Okay.
And it wasn't really until I left high school. Then I went to University of Kentucky. And after a month there, that I realized that I wanted to be in the shed row. Up till then, I loved going, to the races in the afternoon. Loved looking at, handicapping the races, going over strategy for the, upcoming races. And then when I left home, went to Kentucky, that's when I realized, I wanted to be in the shed row. And that's when I started working for my dad full time, doing school on the side. And now I'm full time with my dad, 7 days a week.
That is so great. I love it. And Greg, did you always know that you wanted to be a trainer? I mean, you grew up in the business.
Yeah, from an early age on, I had the passion for it along with my brother Rick. And, with my dad, we just gravitated towards, we had a small farm near Monmouth Park. So between the farm and racing it between Monmouth and Garden State, Atlantic City at the time, which was the Golden Triangle before the Meadowlands came onto the scene in the late 70s, with just racing. It was always horse racing. And it's something that has to be in your blood. It's a labor of love. It's, it's 7 days a week, but I had a passion from it early on. And I knew that I would be in the industry in some capacity.
Oh, I love that. Okay, wonderful. Now, you guys, we have to bring it up. This is fast forwarding big time, but it's what everyone's thinking about right now. The Belmont is coming up. You have been there yourself with the horse Jovia. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Oh, you could start, Will.
Jovia was a horse that was purchased with my dad, Barry Dolan, Michael Fazio, and Jeff Fazio in Ocala for $32,000.
Wow.
Yeah, he was, he was a medium-sized colt, but showed a lot of talent early on for my dad. First time out, he won a maiden special weight. Then he was sidelined till February, ran in a stake his second time out, was second in that at Aqueduct in the Jimmy Winkfield, second in the private terms at Laurel, then ran him in the Wood Memorial, had a little trouble leaving in the gate, then came back in the long range, he won that, and then everyone thought we were kind of crazy after the Long Branch, but with the timing, we kind of said, maybe we'll take a shot at the Belmont Stakes. He was a son of Shanghai Bobby. People, they looked at us, he's not gonna be able to handle the mile and a half. He's not bred for that distance. He doesn't really have the credentials to run against the, horses that have won the Derby, second and third in the Preakness, Triple Crown contenders. And we believed in Jovia to. We weren't going in thinking we were going to win the Belmont, but we definitely thought that we had a chance to compete and have, show good effort in one of the Triple Crown races. And he did, and he gave us a thrill of a lifetime. And we watched that race a million times. I mean, Larry Colmes, I kind of know every call from the start to the finish. I mean, we were third, but it was one of the best races that I've witnessed for my dad. And maybe my dad could say one of the best races that he's competed in.
Oh, that's so amazing.
The Triple Crown is the creme de la creme of racing, the Belmont being the last leg. it was a great race, and something memories that we have. And now Jovi as a stallion is standing in New York, and his babies will hit the track next year. So hopefully he'll turn some of that determination and grit that he had racing to his baby. So we look forward to having them next year.
Oh, Sean, you're always trying to learn about those breeding angles. We've got one to keep
go,
an eye on.
Well, and I was going to say, too, because I just got to experience my first behind the scenes with the Preakness Stakes. Talk about that experience with the Belmont, the couple days before, the nerves, the walkover, all that stuff.
It's a surreal experience, at that level, especially, a Triple Crown event. We had shipped over about a week early and from Monmouth, from our home base, and he trained really well over the track. Breeze handled it nicely. And, we thought going in that, we had a shot in the back of our mind. So that made it that much more exciting for the whole team. But it was a wonderful experience. Will was still in high school at the time, and my daughter, Sydney. So all their friends were there. People were holding up Jovi signs, even though we're a long shot. And my daughter said they were yelling our name out. And they're walking through the tunnel with my son and my daughter and their friends. I didn't walk through the tunnel with them, but updoors. But there was a thrill of a lifetime for them. It was in the Fazio brothers, who owned them, named after one of their sons, Joseph and Olivia. It was, it's a great experience. They're great young guys in the business, and you can't put any of those into words. How much it meant to our family and the Fazio family. So it was a wonderful experience all the way around. And Jose Lascano, I rode him here when he was a young rider. We've had tremendous success with him. So having him on, and his agent Jay Bitus is a great guy. They've been a great team together. So that made it that much special. I have pictures with Will when he was 5 in the circle with Lascano. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. Now you're looking for 2-year-olds to get back to that kind of thing?
Yeah, we're always looking, Sean. We have about 10 to 12 now. It's more coming in, and we've been active at all the sales. So you never know when the next good one's going to come around, and it's a little bit of luck involved, obviously, sometimes. But we have a good group this year, and hopefully some will turn into some potential stake horses for us.
Now, another thing people always wonder about, and you got a trainer and assistant trainer here. You guys both have different jobs. Each of you talk about your daily schedule and what you guys both do.
Well, Will has a keen eye for young horses, and I actually sent him to the sale on his own last year. By plan, I kind of bowed out last minute, and he went on his own, and he picked out 2 really nice 2-year-olds that are 3-year-olds now, and a horse named Love Me Not, who may compete in the Jersey Derby or the Penny Ridge at Belmont in 2 weeks. And a horse that just ran yesterday, Freedom Road, that Sal Kuman and Madagat bought into at the end of his 2-year-old season. He was 3rd yesterday, but he grabbed his quarter leaving the gate. Pretty good horse, and I think he's going to run in a stake next time. So, Will as a keen eye, and I look forward to him going to the sales and picking out horses. But so our daily routine starts like everyone else at 4:00. We get up. First stop is Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Like everyone else at 4:00. Sean and I know nothing of this life, but go ahead.
We hit Dunkin' Donuts. We hit the barn, and we set up our day. The schedule's set the day before. We've got a great group of people working for us. Some have been with me for 20 years, and some go to Ocala for the winter, and then they rejoin the stable in the summer. And Will is, second in command, and he's great with our guys. They have a lot of mutual respect for one another. And his Spanish is getting very good. Will is, starting to really get his Spanish going good. So, and the barn starts, we start and we just roll through the morning. There's a lot entailed with icing horses and what horses are, going to be jogged or ponied. And, there are different things that go on throughout the morning course, but I leave most of the heavy lifting up to Will now. So he's in charge of the barn from morning till night until we get done, and I'll let Will take over now. And what you like and dislike about everything.
I mean, working for my dad, it's obviously the family personal relationship, and then you got the business relationship thing. So you got to manage, both sides of where, it's my dad, it's my boss. So you got to work, there's times I don't want to listen to him because I'm like, that's my dad. And then there's like, that's my boss. So, we work with each other, and I'm trying to learn everything. And it's like it's really cool with the, like my grandfather. So it's all the knowledge going back to where my grandfather, he's, started his shed row and passed it on to my dad. And now he's passing it on to me. And I think it's cool to see like how things have changed through racing throughout the years, but you still like, we keep that old school kind of thing, we're a little bit more old school than modern. And I like that where, we really focus in on our horses each and every day. And we are, trying to win the Kentucky Derby. So we're looking at those younger horses, trying to develop them into, young superstars, Derby winners. If we have a filly, an Oaks winner, and, trying to reach that goal, that dream, and working hard each and every day.
So without giving insider information or any of your secrets, what are you looking at in the 2-year-old sales?
Well, our pocketbook is not that big. So we're going to have to, we manage, from the low end, 20, the high end, 70,000. So we have a small selection. What my dad and I really like is a horse with some breeding. We like a nice sire, a nice dam, a dam that's produced winners. We're not going to get into Mischief, the Uncle Mo. We like to look at first crop sires because you could gamble on a first crop sire. It may work out, it may not work out. In 2019, my dad bought a Liam's Map, 2-year-old colt at Timonium, first crop sire at the time. And he breezed 10-2 on his left lead. And that horse's name is Ocean's Map. He became a stakes winner at 4. He won the Cape Henlopen at Delaware. He's 6 years old. He's in our barn. He's in stall 1. We've had him the longest. He's like our baby. We've had him his whole career. Stakes winner my dad. Moral of the story: my dad bought him for $10,000 at Timonium, and we're hoping for a good season out of him. So when we go to these sales, we're looking. We point towards first crop sires because maybe people don't want to buy a 2-year-old by a first crop sire because their babies haven't hit the track yet. But we'll take a gamble because you're gonna get a bargain for them. Like at Liam's Map, $10,000. It's hard to find them now, but you can still find those first crop sires at those sales, and it may work out, it may not work out. Physically wise, for a 2-year-old, their stride, how they hit the ground. If a horse is crooked but walks through it, we like that. We want a horse that looks like it's going to be sound. We want long careers. We like a horse with some length. It doesn't always have to be the tallest horse. Medium size is fine. Short pasture and short cannon bones. Nice neck, a nice butt on them. We're looking for one of those horses that just fit what we like. And each and everyone has their own opinion on their 2-year-olds. But my dad has a keen eye, and he's purchased many stake winners at a low price, and he's taught me how to find them. And hopefully we continue it on this season with our babies.
That sale at Timonium, that's going on right now, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We think we're going to be there tomorrow. We couldn't make it today. We have our and a couple tomorrow, and one Palace Malice filly that Will liked that was a buyback. So maybe we'll pick her up tomorrow. But there's a couple that we're going to zero in on tomorrow.
Nice. Very cool. That was so informative. Thank you so much, Will. I feel like I'm getting all of this knowledge here. I absolutely love it. And we've got a few comments here we want to catch up on. Willie Martinez says, great bloodline in this family. First class horsemen. Could not agree more.
Thank you, Willie.
And we've got a question from Terry Hay. Which do you find more difficult to train, male or female horses?
They all have their own characteristics. I think fillies can be a little high strung sometimes. And then sometimes you deal with the colts, some colts that, you may want to geld, but the talent is there. So you wait on them. I think it depends on the individual, but probably fillies get a little temperamental early on until they start to mature. So I would say fillies probably a little bit high strung early on.
I agree.
That brings into a question too. I've never asked a trainer. When do you decide when's a good time to geld them if you want to geld them?
It's when a horse isn't putting out, of course, a studdish horse or a horse that just, doesn't have their mind on their business. Obviously with a well-bred horse that comes into your stable, you give them all the time in the world to come around before gelding them. But but I think for the most part, most horses should be gelded because they're not going to become stallions. And I think they're, if you want a better racehorse, you should geld them early on. I think because of economics, horses aren't gelded. But I think in general, most horses probably should be gelded. There's only a small percentile that go on to have successful stud careers.
Very cool. Well, you guys, I mean, this is so impressive. You are approaching 1,000 wins, and your stats this year are some of the highest stats you've had. I mean, 17% win, 42% in the money. You are on fire for this year. So is there anything that you can point out that has really helped that trajectory of success get better and better?
Yeah, I think Will takes the credit for this. In the wintertime, we rest a lot of the horses in Ocala. And so between Parks or Belmont, it's been Belmont the last couple of years, you sort of take a small string there and then gear up for Monmouth. And Will said, Dad, you got to go back to being year round and at full strength. And let's go to Florida. I'd go to Tampa. He wanted to give Tampa a try. I had never been there. And I said, why not? And fortunately for us, things worked out. We had a really good meet. You have to have the right horses. Like I said, we have a great staff working for us. It helps. I mean, you're as good as your staff and your horses when it boils down to it. So, and with Will in the barn, we went there and everything clicked and it worked out. And we've left there. We started out Monmouth. We've had 2 seconds, 2/3, a couple of 2 noses seconds, but the horses are running well. Tampa's a great place to train horses. It's a great place to leg up. The surface is tremendous and the barn area is great. It's very conducive to horses, never touching concrete really. So it worked out great for us. The horses have started out in Monmouth running well. We haven't won yet, but they've run well. So, Will suggested Tampa. It was a great suggestion. Things worked out. And we just hope to continue it this summer at Monmouth and head back to Tampa in the fall.
Wonderful. And that does bring up something that we talked about before we went live, but I do want to mention this because I think it's so fabulous that, so this was your first year at Tampa. Prior to that, despite, people wanting you to maybe go to Florida to go different places in the winter, you stayed in Jersey year round so you could be more present as a father. And I just think that's so incredible. You see so many people just like put everything in their personal life on the back burner and completely serve this business, but you managed to do both successfully. That's great.
Yeah, it worked out well. My daughter danced and ran track, and Will played 3 sports in high school. He does, he's very modest, but he was a great athlete in high school. And my daughter danced. You don't want to miss those precious moments. Sacrificed a little bit by maybe losing some business by going to winters in Florida because you kind of hibernate up north.
Right. Yeah.
But I wouldn't trade anything for anything. My daughter's going to be a junior at the University of South Carolina, and Will's working hand in hand with me. My wife has been a very big part of their success, turning into young people to young adults, and you can't do it without the family and a terrific wife. So it all goes hand in hand. I think you're trying to have a balancing act, but family, your profession, horse racing does take up a lot of time. I mean, every vacation the kid said, Dad, I mean, there's always have to be a farm or a racetrack or near. No, we always have this something. I always has to incorporate horses or racing or, that's kind of it. You go to Orlando, you're going to go to Ocala.
Sure.
But they both love. My daughter loves racing. It's in Will's blood. She's very competitive. We think that she's not watching, but she knows everything. Just all her stats and says, "Why don't you drop that one down?" Or it's like, so the family's into it, which is cool.
Hey, more heads are better than one, right? And we've got a comment here from Terry. Hey, and Terry, I must say, you did a fabulous, fabulous job filling in the other day. I really enjoyed that show, and you were great. He says, send some horses to the West Coast and compete at Golden Gate Fields. So now you have a personal invitation if you ever want to make a change.
I tell you that the West Coast is great racing, up and down the coast of California. We tune in and watch TVG FanDuel now, but West Coast is excellent racing. Good stuff out there.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Are you running at Delaware this meet too?
Yeah, we have one in at Saturday at Delaware. First, King of Hollywood. We've had him. We bought him as a baby, and he's been a very productive horse for us. We lost him at Tampa and claimed him back, and put the blinkers on him last time, and he ran well with the bug boy Loriano Sosa, who worked for us last summer at Monmouth. he's really turned into a nice young apprentice rider. Very happy for him. We're running. Yeah, he's got the shot on Saturday. Paco Lopez. So I expect him to be forwardly priced. Paco doesn't take many back.
No.
And so he'll probably come out of the gate running. I think we'll make the trip to Delaware if we don't have anything in at Monmouth.
So that was another thing I was going to bring up. We had Paco on the show, and I also met him at Parks. Nicest guy off the track, but he gets a lot of slack while he's in the saddle there.
Yeah, he's super competitive, Paco, and he's amazing. If he could be at Gulfstream and then riding at Parks in the middle of the week, he's crazy. It's lots to ride races, and God bless him. He's earned every accolade that he deserves. He's got a great agent, Corey Moran, and they've been a great team, and it's nice to see that. He's had them for this length of time, and they're just a dynamic team together.
Yeah, we've also had Sosa on the show as well, right?
Yes.
A couple weeks ago. So it's all in the family here.
Yeah,
now
nice.
Now you guys have had some really great moments in racing. What do you think really takes the cake for you?
Well, for running in the Belmont was definitely one of them. Winning a title at Monmouth was a nice one. We won a title at Monmouth was a great one. But we won 2 grade ones at Saratoga, and that's a special place to win any race. But to win 2 grade ones there with Johnny was really great. Johnny Velasquez. So
he's my favorite.
those moments, he's one of the best, and then again, our whole family and friends were there. So those are special moments. That I'd say, there's several, but if I had to pick the 2 grade ones at Saratoga and the 3rd in the Belmont, we're probably up to the high ones. Your
very first grade 1 win was at Saratoga, right?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. That's the best place to do it.
They don't come by easy, and you dream of them. You sometimes don't think you're going to get there. It's such a tough level to compete at, but it was extremely rewarding, and have our whole family there was great.
Wonderful. Now, what advice would you give to someone young just wanting to get started in this business?
Well, you have to follow your dreams. You have to, work hard and be able to take some rejection and, put one foot forward. It's a demanding business, with sensitivity all the way around. People that own horses, they're like their kids or their pets. But just follow your dreams and continue to work hard. That would be my best advice to anybody, to just keep on the path and follow your dreams.
I love that. And what about for you, Will? Same question. From a young person to a young person, what would you suggest?
I try to learn everything you can. And I'm always looking at, the daily racing form, watching replays, EVG's on 24/7. It's not my whole life, but it is at the same time. For a young person, find a role model. My dad's my role model, and look up to someone and in that particular business and horse racing, and learn as much as you can.
I love that. Finding a mentor is key.
What about tracks? I always get frustrated with tracks not putting enough effort to get the fans. Do you guys have any ideas? 1, why they don't do that, and 2, what we can do better, or what they can do better, really?
I think my generation is not targeted as much. Growing up, my friends, we brought their dads to the races, and now they love it. My close friends, they love the races. My best friend since kindergarten actually just became a jockey agent. He has Manny Jimenez, and he was down
friend of the
show. Anthony Esposito, and we've been best friends since kindergarten, since 5 years old. And I just brought him to the races since we were little. And he caught the same bug that I caught. He absolutely loves it. He would, he would text me, does your dad have anything in? I'm like, yeah, we got a few. And this was when we were like 12, 13 years old. Then he became a little bit of a gambler. And now he kind of talked to me, a little bit about I might want to be in the business. Not as a trainer, but he kind of was like, I love horse racing. I want to, work in this business. So then I mentioned to him being a jockey agent last summer, and that's where he started working with Manny Jimenez at Monmouth. and him and Manny had a great meet at Tampa. Now they're down at Gulfstream, and he's taken off in his own career in horse racing. But it's really cool to see like me and him best friends, and we're both in horse racing, going in our careers. And so going back to the audience at the track, I think my generation, I mean, if we can find, how to bring us in, and because it's not easy, to follow horse racing. There's so many variables, for the NFL, NBA, MLB, you can pick a favorite team and then you can watch them. You really can't, unless there's a Zenyatta, American Pharoah, the public really don't gravitate unless there's a big horse. So you gotta find a way to bring my generation. And from what I've learned, kids my age, they love it. I mean, they love going out, they love dressing up, winning a few bucks, losing a few bucks. I mean, they're going to the races. It's a great day for my generation, families. It's we gotta attract more people to joining us and what we do, and joining us at the races.
Absolutely. And do you guys ever think, like, I'm just bouncing this idea because I was at the Preakness and somebody said they paid $500 for a folding chair basically to sit there and watch the stretch. And I'm thinking to myself, you guys could come every other day and watch horses for free, but you wanted to be here for the Preakness stage.
Yeah.
How do we get that attraction to realize to people that this happens every day and it's just as great on Monday?
It's a lot. I guess, they kind of gouge on the big days, but I guess there are a lot of different concepts with the dollar beer, dollar hot dogs. I think, there should be free admission, and they should have different venues for young people, or even, seminars, different introductions on weekends with how to gamble, or, jocks, maybe take them through the jocks room, and, different things to get people, their wheels turning, and what it takes, even. And then they've done backside tours, but I don't even see them doing that much anymore. But I mean, the backside tours do help. They did it at Mom at the backside tours. Yeah. It's listen, it's a half hour in between races, 20 minutes, and younger people want some instant action. So I can see where it's probably a hard lure to get young people. But if you have venues, whether it be sports bars or good food at racetracks, dollar beers, dollar hot dogs, free admission, different things. I mean, I think there should be like a raffle every race, and give vouchers to people. Try and get them involved, enticed. Like I said, Will's friends love racing, but that's a small group. But once they're exposed to it, they really enjoyed it. And that's what we need, young people. The next generation to follow horse racing, not just the Triple Crown or the Breeders' Cup.
Absolutely.
I love all of those ideas. So what do you? Okay, I was just gonna say, what do you think makes you stand out as a trainer? Because, like I said, your stats are awesome. You've had some great moments. Like, what makes you successful at this?
It goes back to, I think, my dad and particularly, and my uncles. Brought up in the business the right way, and you rely on your horsemanship, a love for the animal. I've been very fortunate to train for good people, past and present. I think you learn different things from people that you work for, and it's a level of consistency, and being the son of a trainer. I knew my dad's ups and downs, and growing up with him. So you have to fight through, the good and the bad, and the slopes. And, just when you feel you figured everything out in our game, you go in a slump, like jockeys, they're on a hot streak. I think everything is, you need a level of confidence, and you have to have good people work for you. You can't do it on yourself. You have to have a good group of people to work for you. Of course, good clientele that believe in you. But you have to, I've relied on my horsemanship, and that's always, something I value with my father and my uncles, mainly my dad. And so that's, it pulls you through the tough times, because there are plenty of tough times in our industry. You get kicked in the stomach a lot.
Oh yeah.
But the level of consistency is with I am, proud about. It's, it's a tough, long game, and 7 days a week, you have to put a lot into it, but it's a passion. And I think everyone that does it has a strong passion for it, from the smaller tracks to the biggest tracks. We all do the same thing every morning at different levels. And, the main goal is to win races, treat your help with respect, treat your horses well, and as the success comes in, the horses come in and the clientele comes in. But it's a very competitive business. So, you constantly have to keep winning. Winning is everything. And everyone, they remember your last race.
Yes. Yep.
So,
yeah, that's what Willie says all the time as a jockey. He's like, no one cares what you did even yesterday. All that matters is what just happened.
Yeah. It's you try and keep a level of consistency if you can. It's not easy, but that's what you strive for.
Well, you guys clearly are a wonderful, close-knit team with all the respect in the world for each other. But I would love to know, is there like a little annoying pet peeve that like bothers you about the other one, working together so closely all the time? You're like, oh my God, I hate the way he chews gum or something,
No, well, I expect a lot from Will, and maybe I ride him a little hard sometimes because I one time I was slacking off with my dad, and my dad took me aside. He said, Greg, if you're gonna slack off, what are the other guys gonna do in the barn or girls? He said, you have to set the example. So Will has to set the example in the barn. And so I expect a lot of him, but he's come through with shining colors, which I'm proud of.
Oh, that's good.
So now Will's got to be nice too.
Spill the tea, Will. Spill the tea.
I don't know, but I don't know if I have any pet peeves, but we do have our arguments about.
Yeah, we argue.
Where we place a horse in a race or how we think the race is going to set up. Do we go to the lead? Do we take him back? Equipment, breezing.
Oh, Jamie, that's it. He's super aggressive. We lost like 10 horses at Tampa. Horse went for 16. He wants to run them back for 5.
Hey, that's how you win races.
Yeah. And I go, oh, why would you do that? And he goes, well, Dad, is it a stake horse? I go, no. He goes, well, what do you care? And I said, it's the name of the game is to win. So he's super aggressive. We lost a bunch of horses at that, but it's all good. The name of the game is to win. You turn them over.
I got to tell Willie, he's got to ride for that barn. That's a dream come true for a jockey. Enter him, run him.
He's super aggressive. I guess at 22, you're aggressive.
But we did take maybe 3 horses back. But,
we
do have a problem with taking our horses back. Sometimes we don't want to lose them, and we want that horse back, and we'll go back in for them. But no, I mean it's ultra competitive, the sport. So, if you're in the right spot and you're 1-9, you're most likely to lose. So you gotta really be, really place them where you think you have a great chance, because there's so many factors that go into it that you can't control, and you're gonna lose more than you win.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, how hard is that claiming game? Have you ever lost one that you really took to heart, that you were like, I really didn't want to lose this one?
Oh yeah. Over the years, yes, several, because there are factors why you placed them in that race, but I think I've lost a few over the years. I haven't lost the horses won a stake, but I lost a couple over the years that I regret. Yeah, of course.
And then there's the attachment to the horse, and it's like you gotta run them where they belong, but at the same time your heart doesn't want to see them walk out of the barn where you've had them since as a baby, or it's tough when that happens. Where
it's a fine line, but the bottom line is you do have to run horses where they belong.
Yeah, it's a business, and owners they don't want to hear about how much you love their horse. When they're finishing 5th, instead you could be running them lower and they could be winning.
Yeah.
What about the super trainer question that people keep throwing about? Do you think there should be a cap on how many horses a trainer should have?
That's an interesting question, like a double-edged sword. Years ago when I was growing up, some of the top racing secretaries capped you at 40 stalls because, that kept the 40 instead of somebody, sort of monopolizing the business and, having 2 in a race or being the favorite. It's not really good for the betting public, but some of these mega trainers, my hat's off to them. They run, large outfits, 150, 200 plus horses, highly successful with a lot of assistants. So my hat's off to him, but it's a little bit the double-edged sword. I mean, you'd like to see, it's spread out, and I think it could be spread out. And I think if somebody had 60, I think Bobby Frankel, something I admired about him, or Bob Baffert, they're under one barn. And they were 2 of the most successful trainers, 2 guys I look up to, especially Bobby Frankel, because his horses always improved over the years. They got better. They never tanked. His horses just got better and better. And he always had horses under one shed row. So it's a great question, but, my hat's off to the guys that are pulling it off, and they have wonderful assistants and, high functioning outfits. And it's okay. It's fine with me, but it's a tricky question because I think that it could be spread out to even those assistants being trainers and a guy having 50, 60 horses instead of 200. It gets a little bored seeing the same people win the big races year after year. I mean, they have the numbers, so and they're expected to win. If you're going to get 100, 200-year-olds a year, you're expected to be in all these races. It would kind of be silly if you're not.
Yeah, you'd be really bad.
The guys that have them in every race, they have 150, all the horses. So, like I said, my hat's off to them. But you're starting at a pretty good spot there when you're starting with 100, 150 babies a year.
How many horses do you guys have, and how many do you want to be at?
We have about 32 right now. We're going to cap it off about 40 for the summer. I've had about 60 at one time. And I've kept it between 25 and 40 over the last several years. That's a good number under one barn, something we can, keep a good handle of. And I think that's where I'd like to be. I mean, if the opportunity ever came and we had more, so be it. I'm sure we can handle it. But a lot goes into it. You have to rely on your help too. And so, right now we're fortunate to have good help over the years. But, like I said, it's a true statement. You're as good as your help and your horses. You need the people to work for you, and you need the horsepower. Those two go hand in hand. You need the stock, you need the people to work for you, and you need volume. You need some volume with horses. So I think between the 30 to 40 horses, you have enough to work with. A couple of horses get hurt. You have you're not going to get hurt that much. Guys with small outfits, a couple get hurt. They get knocked out easy. So it's a tough go. You have to have some stock to work with.
All right. Well, we are well over 30 minutes, so we will let you go shortly. But I just have one very tricky question before you go. Okay. And that is, if you had to pick one favorite horse, who would it be?
Ooh. You go first, Will.
Well, currently or any currently in the barn or past?
Anytime.
Anyways, your favorite horse doesn't have to be in the barn.
Oh, it doesn't. I'm gonna go with Foreverness. My dad's first graded stakes win. He was a New York bred. I was little at the time, but because I was little, I looked up to him like he was Secretariat, and he's a special horse. I mean, we didn't have the biggest barn at the time, so he was the star, and he carried like. It was just like at the time when I was little, and now it's still, we were looking at the win picture like yesterday of the Grade 3 Fort Marcy win at Aqueduct. And I was like 7 years old. So I think he's my favorite horse just because I was 7 and I just thought he was like this monster Secretariat like a horse. So Foreverness would be my favorite.
That's a good answer. Well, my favorite horse that I didn't train growing up would be Seattle Slew.
Oh, okay.
He was a tremendous horse. And I actually was at the Meadowlands when he got beat by Dr. Patches and Angel Cordero, and Kruger was on Seattle Slew. That was a great race. I was, about 11. But my favorite horse that I did train personally would probably be Enjoy the Silence. She was a multiple stakes winner. We won at Hialeah with her, my first stake at Hialeah. And it was for Mr. Bernetti, the owner of the track. So that was special. His son, Steve, had put the horse out. It was just one of his first horses he ever bought. So she was she holds near and dear to my heart.
Awesome. Great answers. All right, Sean, you got anything else before we let these lovely gentlemen go?
Well, I guess my last question would be, what's the plan going forward? You guys continue to work like this, or?
Yeah, I think Will is, maybe he's probably a year away from going out on his own. 2 years at the max. He's learning everything like a sponge. He's got a great attitude for racing, great attitude, and a respect for the guys that work and women that work for us. He's got a great personality. He has a love for the game. So, when he's ready, I think he's going to be, complete ready, a package to be a trainer, and he knows all the trials and tribulations. I'm still not over the hill yet, so I'll still continue, but I will support Will with a couple of my owners and to kickstart his career. And I know he's going to do some good things in our sport. He has a deep passion and love for it. and that's what it takes to be successful. So I think we'll go for about a year or two together, and then I'll be supporting him from the sidelines.
Oh, okay. So will we see any Will and Greg exactas?
Oh yeah, we'll be competing against one another. Sure, yeah. The Jovia babies hit the track next year, and he might have. It might even be sooner than later. It might be by next summer.
Oh, wonderful!
I think he wants to transfer Jovia babies. Yeah.
Something to
so
look out for.
That first time he beats you, it's gonna be bittersweet.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be weird. I'll probably be rooting for him down the lane.
Oh, I love that. That is so awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on here. It was so nice getting to know more about you. And Paula Bacon was right. You guys are excellent guests. Loved having you here.
Thank you very much. It was our pleasure. Have a great summer.
Nice meeting you, Sean.
And we'll see you guys sometime in the near future. If you're at Monmouth or anywhere near Monmouth with Willie or Sean, please call us and we'll show you Monmouth and either a pasta dinner at my house or out somewhere else.
Oh, well, we've got to take you up on that.
I'm only like 2 hours from Monmouth, so we're not making that
happen.
Hey.
Please, Sean, please call us anytime, and you'd be a guest of ours at Monmouth in our home, please.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. All right. Well, you guys have a great night and a great summer.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
See ya.
See ya. Thank you.
Oh, they're fun, huh?
Yeah, that was awesome. Nice way to
Yeah.
start the week. Yeah.
I know. Great suggestion from Paula. I'm going to have to text her. Hey, girl. Nice work.
Well, Paula hasn't let us down yet, right?
No.
Anybody coming from Paula, we're good. We know we got a good show coming.
Any Paula Bacon suggestions? I mean, that's what she does. She's an agent. She works with people all day. So she knows the right ones to get on here for sure. And thank you, Terry. Great win on South House today, Willie. Yes. Perfect. I was very exciting. Willie did break his summer cold streak. He's back and racing. He's over his hand injury and ready to roll. So very exciting. Got a lot of hand injuries up there. Pablo with his finger, Willie with his hand. Everyone's rolling again now. And thank you so much, Grandma Horse Racing. We appreciate that. All right, Sean, what else have we got going on?
So tomorrow we have another, speaking of Presque Isle, she runs at Penn National and Presque Isle, Martina Rojas, young jockey. She has, 3 career wins. So she's just starting her career. She's from a family that's been in horse racing, trainer and stuff like that. So we'll find out more about her tomorrow. And then Wednesday we have a harness announcer at a small track that's also a big thoroughbred fan, Thomas Kearney, that we will interview Wednesday. So that'll be a little bit of a different show. I know you're missing that show. Rich will be here. So it will be Rich and I on Wednesday interviewing Thomas Kearney. I
have a 5th grade graduation and concert to attend. It's very important. So I just cannot be here.
Yeah. I just had a pre-K graduation this morning. So, yeah, it's all happening right now.
I just feel like one of my children is continuously graduating. I mean, I have 4, but it's like every year I'm like, we got to graduate from preschool, from kindergarten, from 5th grade, from 6th. Like, what? Why?
I know you might be a little younger than me in your 30s because you've been 30 for how many years in a row, but But do you ever remember graduating preschool or kindergarten or 5th grade? Like, I don't remember that.
They get caps and gowns and everything. I'm like, really? Like, I got a cap and gown after my, 4th college degree.
So the preschool one, they had caps and gowns to take pictures, but it was like everybody was trying them on. It wasn't like your personal cap and gown. So.
Oh, we got personal ones, Sean. I don't know what school district you're in, but...
Yeah, I don't remember it as a kid. I'm like, okay, is this new? But Hillary said, no, I think we did. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure we didn't. Maybe you did. I don't know. You went to a different school, but.
I'm pretty sure I did not. At least I don't remember it, but that was quite some time ago. So my memory may be failing me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. But I will just talk real quick. The PIMGO weekend covering for FanDuel behind the scenes. Again, I got to do parks and being in the paddock while the races were going on and do some of that. And I said everybody should get to experience that. The behind the scenes in the morning, everybody should experience that. Absolutely surreal. Walking behind Mage for the walkover was surreal. I mean, there ain't many times I go to pinch myself. That was one of those moments that was like, really? I get to do this?
Oh, that's awesome.
So I think more people, that's the way. And I don't know how we do it. I mean, I guess, if you do know a trainer, and I'm not going to put anybody on the spot, but if you do know a trainer or get to know a trainer, like we did tonight with Will and Greg Sacco, and I know for Penn Mile Day, Aaron McClellan, who we've had on the show, has done a sign for me. You can get them to sign for you to be over there. And I'm telling you, obviously be on your best behavior. And if you do that, you get to see a lot of stuff. And it's surreal. And you also see how well the horses are treated that people don't realize.
And I wish they would do maybe like some raffles, you know, where you can kind of be more in on the action a little bit on those big days, you know, like, I don't know. I just feel like that would draw some attention.
I mean, think about that. If you did a 50-50 and you did, and I don't know if this goes on. I guess it doesn't, because if you did a 50-50 and 50 of it went to a thoroughbred aftercare or whatever, I mean, imagine the money you're going to get on the big days, because people like to gamble, so people are going to throw $5. I don't like that type of, you know, I'm a gambler and I really like to gamble, but I don't like gambling on just lucky things, but a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there'd be a ton of money there because there were a ton of people there. And like I said, some were paying a couple $100s for a freaking folding chair to sit on the stretch. I'm not sure. Like, that's why this was my first Preakness Stakes, because quite honestly, I'm cheap. I'd rather go to Penn National, Delaware, and go on a regular day and get to walk everything for free or a couple dollars, not spend hundreds just to see a different race.
I really love the idea that Greg had of like having like little betting seminars kind of, right? And then, I don't know, the guest that you had on Tuesday, he was so fabulous because he's like, you know, you don't have to wait until Sunday to bet again. Like, I lost yesterday, but it doesn't matter. I'll be back at it again tomorrow. And with racing, you get that happening like every half hour, you get a new race. You know what I mean? Like, that's great.
That was Dubs Anderson. And that's great. That's great and bad at the same time. If you're really a gambler, that can be bad sometimes.
Yeah, but it's not stop action is what I mean. You don't have to like wait and wait and wait, you know, like, I don't. There is definitely a better way to market this. Australia's got it down. We've got to be able to find some way to advertise this.
I'm working on an idea too, and I'll let you know. But we have to. Even while I was there were plenty of people that didn't know where the paddock was, and now I was there since Thursday, so I could walk them to the paddock. There are people that they thought the 7 won the Preakness, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure the 1. Now I didn't have the best angle, but I was pretty sure the 1 won. And then she's like, well, how much money do I get? And I'm like, well, I don't know. How much do you have on? And she's like, 20. So then I had to explain to her, there's a lot of stuff that if somebody was with a group of 20 people or something like that, that you could really help them with.
For sure.
Like a field trip type deal, because there are a lot of people that have no idea.
Yeah, no idea.
And,
Your story.
and it's not their fault neither. Like, honestly, the paddock was not the easiest thing to find.
Right.
It's inside at Pimlico, and it was not the easiest thing to find. So
a little info would go a long way, and people love that. People feeling like, ooh, now I know something secret. Now I got the inside info. Like, people love that. They love like a little seminar, a little explanation, and then if they actually hit something, they feel like a rock star, you know? Like,
oh yeah, this girl, she put $20 on National Treasure, and she was getting $70-some back, and she was thrilled. She was thrilled. Doesn't take hundreds of dollars to.
I do have to shout myself out because I had that exact. That's right.
Yeah, I didn't have it, but you know what? You didn't get me on my soapbox, but I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. That was the worst thing to happen to horse racing. No offense, but the whole Baffert thing, we didn't want, like, at least I didn't. I feel like horse racing, we didn't need all that story. We didn't need. Obviously, you didn't need and want that horse to die earlier in the day. That's
of course
absolutely a shame, no matter whose horse it is. And then for him to win too, with all the controversy, it just it doesn't help things. And
I gotta be happy. I gotta be happy for Johnny Velasquez, though. You know, that's my guy.
Yeah. I can totally be happy for him. But at the same time, I just felt like, this has to happen to horse racing again.
Right.
And I don't know anything. I can't prove any which way what people think, whether you're a Baffert lover or a Baffert hater. But there still are things that I'm not going to necessarily root for or until I know. And the whole thing kind of made me sick that his horse won after what happened earlier in the day. And
right. Yeah, no, I get it. I'm a Baffert lover. I'm not even going to try and disguise that. But I agree with you that it looks bad, you know, and sometimes
Well,
appearances mean more than what even is going on. You know what I mean? And it does. It looks bad. I get it.
This is my soapbox too. That like in the interview, he said all the bad things that happened to me, all the bad things that happened to you. Like that's just, let's not make you out to be the victim. That's
Right.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it, and I know a lot of people. They're watching every move and everything he says, and sometimes that's unfair. But he's got to know that too, and
Right.
stop being the center of attention. Basically, let's make these horses the stars because they are. And he's a great trainer. I don't know. That's the end of my soapbox for now.
Yeah. Well, that's fair enough. I hear you on all that.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like it was a great. I wanted a better storyline for whether I had the winning bet or not. It's all about, when you love horse racing, it's all about the storylines. And
yes.
The storyline of Baffert losing a horse and then winning the Preakness was not.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, he had no way of winning that interview. And then, especially with the way he comes off, definitely didn't have any shot of winning that interview. So.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just sad because it was a great story for Johnny because he's had this Preakness curse and boom, now it's gone. But
yeah. And it was a weird and gross kind of feeling for me, being able to take a picture of having a meltdown on Friday morning, taking a bath, and then Saturday the whole thing happened on the track. I was glad I was able to capture that photo, but then it's kind of like such a sad thing when you look back, and I didn't realize at the time because I wasn't thinking about that. I was actually trying to get to the other end of the track to figure out what was going on. And I'll tell you what, everything happened so quick. Even Luis Saez, they had off the track quick in the ambulance and stuff like that. By the time I got down there to see what was going on and if everybody was okay. So yeah, definitely a somber time. And that's the other thing about Pimlico, I would say, is they're blaring music in the infield while the races are going on. Kind of. You know, we always talk about let's make horse racing the event.
Right.
Yeah, and they were partying was the event. So
right, yeah.
It was a little weird.
You got to feel like you got your money's worth for a $50 folding chair. So, or however, what did you?
$500.
$500 folding chair.
I don't know if that was per seat or what. That's crazy, but
that is really.
I wanted to say, hey, that $500 stick in your pocket. Come back on Thursday or Friday on a regular day. You can keep $50 for food and stuff, and $450 fire away, and maybe you can turn it into a couple thousand.
And we can convert another degenerate gambler. We got this.
yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that is great. Your pictures were wonderful. I was living vicariously through you because I was stuck at work, but I loved it. I'm so happy you got to.
I wish I had a professional though. I'm just snapping. See, I learned the trick. It's just keep taking pictures and one-on-one got it.
Oh,
good, right?
100%. Yeah.
I just have random pictures on my phone that are no good at all because I was just snapping.
Oh, when I'm out there in the morning taking pictures of horses, I take like 10,000 and then I edit it down to like 100. So
yeah. That's where you take a lot of time, is going through and going, is this good or not good? And,
Yes. All right. Well, what else have we got going on?
That's I guess Terry and Rich should be back. Tomorrow's Tuesday, so they'll do parks again. So we have that going on. I'm not sure how well they did today. Terry could probably comment, but I'm sure they hit something because they always seem to be hitting.
Yes.
And all their picks are right there for you to see, so they can't Fitbit like some of the other sites. They put it out there. They make some money for you.
Amen. You heard it here first, folks. All right. What else?
That's pretty much it.
All right, wonderful. Well, that takes us wire to wire tonight on Horse Center. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, a share if you're feeling extra lovely tonight. But please make sure that you follow us on all social media. We are Horse Race, the number 2 day on pretty much every platform except YouTube. And we really appreciate the love. Hold on, let me see. Oh, there we go. All right. So everyone, we hope that we see you on all the different social medias. We hope that we see you tomorrow night. We hope we see you on the handicapping show tomorrow. But wherever we see you, we hope it's in the
Winner's Circle.
Winner's Circle. Hey, good night, everyone.